All right, everybody. How's everybody doing today? First of all, I am so impressed. I want to cry. Shout out to CEMC, everybody. Shout out to CEMC. No, this is truly amazing, and I'm so proud of you guys for your inaugural event. I'm Czarina Mirani, CZ Boogie, editor-in-chief and owner of 5 Magazine, which is an underground dance music publication that has been around for 20 years. And so, gracias. So I thought an appropriate topic, which John suggested to me, was longevity in the music industry. Oftentimes, in many dance, industry panels and talks, there's a lot of focus on making it and being the next big thing, the trajectory upwards, which is great, but what happens when you're up there? How do you sustain? How do you have a meaningful and long career that doesn't just make you a flash in the pan? What if you're a DJ that had a kid and you wanted to leave? What if you're a DJ that got burnt out by the scene and want to come back? Do you feel like life has moved on without you? So all these questions, all these topics, this is what we want to tackle, the art of the comeback. So I'm so honored to have this esteemed panel with me who have contributed so much to the music industry and continue to do so. And they're also my friends. So I'm going to give you a short bio of each person. Excuse my notes. Mike. I didn't check this bio with you, but we're going to go with it. Mike Dunn. I mean, who doesn't know these people? Okay. Mike Dunn is a foundational figure in house music, especially known for pioneering acid house. He was one of the first artists to perform live with drum machines at parties, influencing the genre's development. His early tracks like Dance You Mother and Let It Be House became essential in shaping Chicago's house and hip house scenes. Mike has worked with legends such as Frankie Knuckles and Kim English and remains a key player in the scene. His tracks like Housework and Freaky Motherfucker have introduced his music to new audiences, while his ongoing DJ career keeps him in high demand worldwide. Give it up for Mike Dunn. Okay, Lady D, the queen. Lady D. Darlene Jackson, widely known as Chicago's house music queen, is a veteran DJ, producer, label owner, and community leader who has shaped the city's dance music culture since 1995. As a founding member of the iconic Super Jane Collective and owner of Delectable Music, she's helped launch careers including Cascades, mentored countless artists, and held residencies at some of Chicago's most legendary venues. Lady D brings unmatched energy, history, and heart to every set, and her career stands as a testament to resilience, creativity, and the power of house music to uplift and unite. Lady D! And last but not least, this handsome man here is Joe Shanahan, who has spent the last 40 years plus contributing to the shaping of Chicago's music community from his post on North Clark Street. Comprised of Metro, Smartbar, and G-Man Tavern, the family of music venues Shanahan and his devoted team have built over the decades has become one of the few remaining independently owned and operated music venues in the country. Please show some love for Joe Shanahan. Okay, so we're gonna just dive right into the deep questions, okay? All right, so let's start with Lady D. Ladies first. What has been one of the biggest setbacks of your career, and how did you move through it?
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay, a big setback. There have been a few setbacks. I mean, it's never a smooth road. I always like to say your career in music is sometimes like a Ferris wheel. Like you can be up at the top, and you're gonna go around, and you're gonna find yourself here. But if you just hold on, you're gonna go back up again, and then you'll be back up here. And it's like that, it's just cyclical, the entirety. This year represents my 30th year in the industry, so there have definitely been a ton of ups and downs. I can think back to 2006, my father passed, and I didn't know that I wasn't really dealing with the grief of it. Grief shows up in a lot of different ways, and I remember feeling like, oh, I have to go to Winter Music Conference. And I went and I spent all of my money and I slept the entire time. I went to dinner one time and I would go back to my room and then I would go to sleep. And I didn't engage with people. I didn't network. There was no return on the investment. It was just a sort of a loss. I took a loss. But I didn't realize it until I was beyond it, that's what I'd done. And it took me a good year to kind of get out of the funk of that. And when I did emerge, I had a record label that I was supposed to be running. And so, the frequency of output had slowed down a little bit. And then in 2008, my distributor went under. And so all the vinyl just stopped. And so it was very dry. There was no output. There was nothing to promote. I had, artists that were like, what's going on? And it's hard to call yourself a label if you're not putting anything out. I decided then that I would kind of like pick myself up and put it together. And I took a bet on going to my first Amsterdam dance event in 2009. And at that event, I showed up for myself and for the community and got, around to different parties, different events. I met someone from Fine Tunes, which is a huge distributor out in Germany. And it was Sheldon Prince from TrackSource that introduced us and said, hey, she has a label. You should talk. They talked. We looked at my back catalog. They liked it. And I got my first digital distribution deal. So it took about a 3-year period. But after that, so if you hold on, it can look really bleak at times. But if you just keep going, I promise you something else will show up, because if people see you in the room, like, that saying, you have to play the game to win or lose, like, you just have to stay in the game. So that's probably one of the biggest, I think.
Thank you. I like the Ferris wheel analogy. That's very good. Joe, I promised you I wouldn't ask you this question, but I am. What? Well, no, it's actually the first question. I wanted everyone to answer it, but really, just to kind of set things off, because I kind of started kind of heavy, but what does resilience look like to you on a day-to-day basis?
First and foremost, I just wanted to say I'm really honored to be here today. And then I look out here and I see all these faces. I know so many of you, and some I don't. But on this panel right here, I'm the only non-artist. These are all artists, and so I don't even know why I'm sitting here, really. So give it up for the artists, because they're the ones who make it happen. I'm the guy who'll hope this can keep the wheels on the bus, keep the wheels on the train. But between the co-panelist and the host, there are 100 plus gigs at Smartbar alone over the 44-year history. So Mike Dunn has played at least 1 or 2 times over the last several years for a total of 25 gigs. Lady D, you've done 50 gigs. But that includes Super Jane, which is something we started on a Wednesday night for $3, just to get people up in the door. And Czarina, come on, 30, 40 gigs. I mean, this is incredible. Oh, yeah, I got the numbers right in front of me, because I'm a numbers guy, So to answer your question and just give you a little bit of research on the fact that what we do for community, like, Mike is one of those, he is part of the chosen few. I mean, I look at this and go, how does that work in the Smartbar? How does this work for Metro? And how does it work for Chicago? And we know it works for Chicago. D works for Chicago. Czarina works for Chicago. All of the label aspect of it, the magazine, the talent, the remixes, the production, that's what we're really promoting and selling at any particular time. Resilience for me is basically, I talked to Dee about this when we first walked in. It's really about my dailies. I get up in the morning and I do a certain regimen of like, you know, a little water, a little coffee, a little yoga, and then I begin to tackle problems. I begin to think about how do I do correspondence with people. If I'm going to talk to Tonya about intonation, you know, or it's important that I look at the day as a full 24 hours and then look at planning for the following day. Resilience means to continue to do that, not give up on that dream, not give up on that there's a point, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. As bleak as it can be, you can get there.
Beautiful, thank you.
You're welcome.
And that's great research on the gigs. I do. Mike, when I interviewed you, I think 15 years ago, we were at your old studio. I believe it was in your house. You had won DJ of the Year for 5 magazine. And you told us, I'll never forget this story. You told me a story, and I think it's important to share it with people if you don't mind, the time that you quit the industry. And one of the things you complained about was like you were playing in Berlin and they just wanted things too fast or something. And you remember that story? So can you share that story? Because I love that story because you're like a superstar now. I mean, you always were, but.
Oh, thank you. Far too kind. But yeah, no, when I actually made because I've always been doing all genres of music. So house was just the one that took off first. You know what I'm saying? So I was doing hip hop, I was doing R&B, I was doing house music. So, of course, the early days, you know, of the East Coast and things, the West Coast really didn't hit yet. South wasn't even thought of. Chicago was always overlooked in the, you know, in the hip hop, rap, whatever you know, we were always overlooked as far as that. So that's why it took us a minute to actually, you know, it took like Eric the Wiz, and when he was tongue twister, you know, basically put out music themselves to get recognized. That's how Chicago hip hop R&B artists had to be. So to speed up to what you were asking, so I was traveling a lot, you know, going back and forth, Mondo and I, rest in forever, eternal heaven, peace, which was my partner at the time. We were, you know, we had labels together, which was 3 labels we had, which was Dance Your Mother, which was my label, Warehouse, which was Amondo's label, and Musique, which was the label we did amongst each other. So we had 3 labels after we left Westbrook Records, which was owned by Chris Bam Bam Westbrook. So our first records really came out through Bam Bam and Sherman. So traveling a lot, you know, going to clubs. If you've ever been to Germany, they're a little faster than everybody else. I'm just gonna say that. You know, it ain't no, you know, it was a time when the soul music wasn't even, the soulful house was very little small clubs. So, you know, maybe 100 people would show up. So I'm spinning at the big venue. So I'm spinning, got my stuff on. Guy comes up, faster. I was like, faster, Scheiße. So, you know, Scheiße is, excuse my French, shit, in German. So he's Scheiße, faster. I'm like, bro, the pitch, you know, digit. So just imagine that MP3s weren't thought of yet. There was no CDJs, there was records and record bags. Ain't no faster. You know what I'm saying? For me, But they, you know, they learned how to, you know, jack the 12s up where they would go faster. So 0 was actually 8. And so that's where they started at. So so the music just lost its, there was a period in house music where it had lost its way. Long story short, it was all over the place. And that's when I knew I had to, you know, I had to basically leave because it was, you know, so I'm DJing, like I said, I'm DJing all these places, Ludwig, Savin, I'm just naming all the off places, because everybody will be like, yeah, you know, Berlin and, you know, Frankfurt and all the stuff they see on the map, but it's the little clubs that were in between. So it just lost its way. So that's when I moved more toward the hip hop thing. And it's not a great thing to say right now, but that's when I got my deal with, you know, Bad Boy. So I moved toward, you know, and I had, it wasn't just an average record deal. It was a JV deal, which was a joint venture, which was, you know, my label funded through, you know, the BB system. You know what I'm saying? So I went there, you know, the Oh My Mama, yada, 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 yada.
So that's what happened. But you came back.
Just so you know, I still listen to that Kim English remix. I do. I find it to be a classic, 100% classic.
Thank you.
And it's about 118 beats per minute. So it's right there for me. Just so you know, sir.
Hey, look, it's Devotion was only 120 beats per minute.
Right. And soulful and beautiful. I mean, you know that house and gospel are the two indigenous music or genres from the city of Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
Not blues, not jazz, but house and gospel.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It touches the soul.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? If you've got problems, things aren't going well at home, your heart is heavy, got a lot on your mind, you're going through some things, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it is, house music is the reliever. It makes you forget about things for a couple hours. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure we're gonna get to CZ. I'm jumping ahead of myself, but it's the music that just soothes and it makes you feel good. You ain't going in there talking about the
Yeah, it just heals. It's
light
healing.
up everybody.
Absolutely. And that's the thing too, though. It's like well, that's funny that you said that too, because I mean, is one of the things that you go through, or one of the things that you go through in your career when you feel like trends are changing and you're, oh, what if they don't really like my sound anymore, or if that's not what's hitting right now? D, what do you would think about that? I'm not specifically saying with you, or just saying like when you see so many trends are happening right now, how does an artist stay steadfast in what they like and not kind of going with the wind? Especially, you know, I mean, there's so many DJs right now. It's so easy to just go with what's hot, right?
It's totally easy because it's kind of formulaic, and you can just go to the, you know, what's hot in festival. Like they have a section, it'll be like festival house. And if you just wanted to play what everybody else was playing to be in that, you know, realm of things, then you could just buy from that section and then play it. If once you learn how to play, you know how to play, right? So you can pretty much play everything. I'm a house person, right? So coming out in the, you know, when house exploded as like, you know, that's my coming of age era, right? So house to me was everything that you could turn into house. So it might be new wave, it might be punk, it might be a little bit of like early hip hop. It could be, you know, some R&B sped up. It could be a little bit of everything, right? So disco, of course. And so to me, house was all of those things. And I personally get a little bored if I'm playing the same thing all night. So I will, you know, digress into a little bit of techno. I will go into some tech house. I will drop some old school disco. I will go into different places. You know, if you're a versatile DJ, you just work on those transitions and getting people. I like something that has a lot of valleys, has a lot of highs, and so that's my type of set.
Can I just interrupt for a second?
Yeah.
Dee's one of those DJs, and I've been watching her for 20 plus years. She can read the room. Mike knows how to do that too. Reading the room, and that's what like when you can kind of like step a little bit up, or maybe lean a little bit back.
Yeah.
That's what you're talking about, is
Right.
that ability to look at the crowd that you're working with.
Yeah, and instead of feeling like, oh, if I play this, I have sold out, or it's not as underground or something, because I like commercial music, I like pop music too. I like to, I love a Whitney song. I'm gonna sing some Mariah. I'm sorry if that offends anybody, and I like to hear that sometimes, and it doesn't always go over well with people, but I think when you're true to yourself, it's hard to do something else that is out of your real wheelhouse. Like, it goes against like what's in your heart. It hurts when you do it, actually. Like, if somebody asks you to play something and they give you $100 bill and you don't want to play it, but you play it for that money, it hurts a little bit. I've been in situations like that where, I'm glad when they asked me to play something I was going to play anyway, and you still get the $100 bill. But you're like, I had a guy that used to come and give me $100 to play an Earth, Wind, and Fire song, I was like, I was going to play that, but thank you.
They don't say faster, faster.
Yes, no.
No. Hey, look. I've been in those situations, D. Sell, Mortimer, sell. Hey, look.
Joe,
Baby need a new pair of shoes.
so wait, did you take the 100? Did you?
What?
God,
What kind of question is that?
Thanks for the clap.
I got 100. Can you share a story about a time when you thought what you thought was a failure ended up being a blessing in disguise? Failure might be a little bit heavy, but setback.
We can talk about hills and valleys, So, when we first opened smartbar, one of the things that, I don't know if this audience knows that, I think the panel knows, but I'd been hanging out at a place called The Warehouse, and there was a DJ named Frankie Knuckles, and he was my favorite DJ. And I was just like, I'm this kid. I just kind of go to him and say, hey, would you play one of my parties? And he's like, you can't afford me. I go, I'll find the money. Just tell me the number. And so it kind of started with that. But Frankie and I became friends over, and he became the first resident DJ in smartbar because we believed in each other. And I think that when you believe in something and it doesn't quite perform the way that you thought it would, D, when we started doing Super Jane on Wednesdays for $3, there wasn't always a crowd there. Now we do the 25th anniversary, and there's a line down the block. There's a reason. Resilience, we stayed together, we worked together. I'll work as hard as a promoter as you will as a DJ. I know the difference, and I appreciate the aspect of what that hill is and what that valley is. You need to make some mistakes. To be real honest, you do. You need to make some mistakes and figure some things out, because then when the real joy comes along, like when I go out to Chosen Few and see 40,000 people in the park dancing to like just a killer banging track, I'm like, okay, Chicago, we've arrived.
Absolutely. Mike.
Yeah.
Have you ever? I can't even ever imagine smartbar. I just want to go back to, because like when Queen started, on Sundays it was dollar disco
Dollar
night.
disco.
Right, and I'd be up there drinking all the shots at the bar.
Michael Serafini, I don't know what kind of money he made that night, but it wasn't a lot.
And now it's like, can you get me in? So, Mike, have you ever had to reinvent yourself?
Many times. You're gonna, you never stop reinventing yourself. You know what I'm saying? When you do, that's when it's pretty much a wrap. You know what I'm saying? So you have to keep evolving. Can't get stuck in your ways. You know what I'm saying? Prince said it best, sign of the times. You have to evolve. Otherwise, you get left behind. You're now considered retro. You know what I'm saying? You're the
retro?
old. That's a nice word, nice way of putting old in a motherfucker. So you have to keep. You have to keep reinventing yourself. That's me. Like, I got a new song coming out soon. I ain't here to promote, but it's just you keep, you keep rising. You know what I'm saying? It's like, always consider yourself like a bar and ivory, and you're in the tub. It can push you down, but as soon as they let it go, it's coming right back up. You know what I'm saying? So people are, everybody, always you say this, everybody that frowns at you aren't your enemy, and everybody that smiles at you aren't your friends.
Beautiful.
You know what I'm saying? So the paths you choose will determine where you move in life and how you move in life. You know what I'm saying? And the people that you have around you, your surrounding people. You may wonder why this isn't happening, or this isn't happening, or why isn't this happening, or why I ain't getting here, or why dude.
Right.
Right, you got to keep moving. You got to keep it moving.
There. So, again, not to be so overwordy, but to answer your question, you have to, never, there's so many tools out there that could be a bad thing, but learn how to use them to your advantage and not your disadvantage. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to gravitate to every little thing, but there are some things that you see out there that, let me check it out. Let me check that out. Let me see what that does. Let me do that. Let me see what that does. Don't be the old person. Oh, no, I'm not finna do that. Because when I first saw CDJs, and I was like, man, get the shit out of here. What the? You know what I'm saying? It was the little squares. I'm like, no, man. Then they came out with the Serato thing with the laptops and all that. I was like, I was one of them, like, man, hell no. They finna phase out records. They finna that. No, man. I want to carry my 12 crates around with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I was. Like, I was anti all of that. But you see where we are now. You know what I'm saying? It's a gift and it's a curse. Records made those who truly wanted to be DJs. This stuff now, everybody's a fucking DJ. Everybody can become a DJ. Just go get some files and, you know what I'm saying, and woo, and you can be a DJ. But that doesn't make you the great DJ. That just makes you a DJ. You know what I'm saying? So.
Because taste matters.
Right.
You are curating a set.
Yeah.
I know this about D. I know this about Czarina too.
Yeah. It's
Taste and
you
flexibility.
can have
What's
you know what I'm saying? You can have
I would say taste and flexibility.
Oh,
because
100%.
Look,
I don't know how many times I've stepped up to a setup that was different each and every time.
Sure.
A real DJ with a lot of experience knows what to do with any setup. Do you know how many people I've played with that said, oh, I have to plug in my controller because they can't play on something else.
Mm-hmm.
And I can play on your controller, and I can play on their controller, and I can play on their decks. And so when you have the fundamentals, you can play on any setup
really
that you
important.
would walk onto. Yeah.
So, right. So I always say, nothing bad is I try not to use the word real in a sense of a real DJ or a good DJ. There's a great DJ, there's a good DJ, there's a DJ, and then there's a bad DJ. You see what I'm saying? So that's the term D uses, so that's cool. But for me, I like to put it in that context that, because everybody.
Okay, a real great DJ would know how to get it.
No.
I'm messing with you. Next question, please.
Everybody's,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? No.
I got you, I
You know
got
what I'm
you.
saying? Sometimes we have to go off script a little bit.
There you go.
Right, no, absolutely. No,
Just because you can cook doesn't make you a chef.
correct. Oh,
There's a
amen.
difference there, for sure.
Amen. Amen. So we should have taste classes soon. Right? But I really wanted to thank you, Mike. I like it when you go off. But it's true though. It's true. And that's another great analogy too. I mean,
I know, but Mike Dunn is a real great DJ.
absolutely.
Thank you.
He won Best DJ in 5
So,
magazines. Well, you are too, D. And so is Joe Shanahan. And if you ever want to see him DJ, he DJs some Saturdays at G-Man Tavern, all vinyl, right?
I'm a
Tastemaker.
I'm a selector. I don't mix
plays
anymore.
amazing. You
There's a
gotta hear him
difference.
play.
Like I'm like the Dave Rodigan of the world or the Norman Jay. I just play records.
He's
I
so humble.
And that's a different thing. I used to mix, but I leave it to you guys. You guys are
you
much
gotta come
better.
check him out.
You
But
know?
going back to there is one question that Joe and I talked about that we did want to hit before we take some of your questions. Where's the raffle box? Is there a raffle box or no? Oh, there is a raffle box with no, but there's nothing that you're gonna win. Okay, Joe. What role does community and collaboration play in sustaining a long career?
So, thank you, Czarina. We're cycling right now because I wanted to mention this, and I had it in my notes because I think it's really important that we talk about mentorship or menteeship, because I think that, while, we're sitting up here with this great DJ panel, all artists, we have to keep our eyes on the horizon, like, who's coming up. I mean, I saw Patrizia here. I don't know if she's still here right now, but she's one of those DJs that we keep an eye on her. We know that you're out there and you're working at Podlace or you're working at some small underground parties, and we are tracking that aspect of it. We hope to have you join us at Smart Bar someday. So I think that that's a big part of something, is the mentorship and the menteeship.
And there was a panel right before that was all about mentoring.
Right, which I
Yeah.
was listening in on. And I just thought it was interesting because, I know that, what Mike does and what, and especially Dee, because when she was a educator, I mean, you took kids under your wing, students. So I think that's an important aspect of like how we grow the community, because Smart Bar is nothing but a box without community, without the support, number one, of your dollars. I get that. But it's helping everybody get, a better lifestyle, but also how we grow the scene, how we grow that community, the music community. One of the things that we ask all the resident DJs is to make sure they have a record that's coming out or some kind of mixtape that they can provide. And that's how you keep informed globally now, right? Because that's a big part of what you're doing too, right, Mike? I mean, it's what's happening overseas when you post something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, for those who don't know, I also teach music production at Truman Middle College. So I do that as well for the middle college students and the college students, teaching them, music production, how to produce songs, how to mix songs, how to use different things in the studio. So they have a DJ part, which is headed up by my childhood friend, Gershon Jackson, who's the principal over there. And so he has a very beautiful thing going on, which I helped him out with, which is called a Sound Asylum, which is one half is teaching the kids and the younger adults that want to get into music production. Then the other side is all the setup for DJs, which is we got all the high-end toys in there, the Rev 7s, the CDJ 3000s, the A10, the A9, the V10s, and then Apple supplies the school with all the computers and all the software.
Can anyone just sign up?
Not right now, but we're working toward that. You have to be an actual college student to be either a college student or the middle college getting ready to go to the what's the name. But that's my goal. That's what I'm pushing them to do, is to take it outside of
That's
just
important.
the school.
That's important. I think Chicago oftentimes, I always said that was one thing that Chicago lacked many years ago, or at least kind of my generation. There were no mentors really, but now it's so nice, it's so heartening to see. And so we have 9 minutes left, and so we're going to do a quick.
Whoa.
These questions, I know it went by so fast. So these
Lightning
questions-
round.
Lightning round, exactly. Well, these are deep questions, so I don't know. What are we doing? 30 seconds each for
Yeah.
these deep career questions?
Quick questions.
Okay, 30 seconds each, and then we're just gonna snatch the mic from each other, okay? What are the top three keys to sustainable long-term music career? Go.
Resilience, courage, and foresight.
Professionalism, integrity, raw talent.
That's hard to explain to me in 3 words, but surround yourself with good people. Don't be the person in the room that thinks they know everything. A man who claims to know everything is a fool that knows nothing.
Okay. How do you know? Okay. I think we might get through all the questions. How do you know if it's time to reinvent yourself or time to remain resilient? What are the signs that show you go one way or the other? Thank you, legends.
Just when your head hits the ceiling, when you reach that moment where you're like, okay, what's around the corner? Look around the corner.
Yeah, I love that. I think you basically get so unmotivated by what you're doing that you realize that you have to do something else. Like, you can't stay stuck. It's just unfulfilling. Part of the reason I went back to get my master's degree in 2015, I was really considering, how do I get out of this industry? And I was like, I miss academia. I really want, something else. Can't keep having these same conversations with people. It was so unfulfilling. I took a year, went to Northwestern. I was thinking I wanted to do cultural program producing. I wanted to, create with DCase and things like that. And I went and got a master's in communication about program design to shore up my ability to do that. I had been doing it always with Delectable anyway, right? I had the experience just from being in the house music community, but I wanted to make sure I was bona fide, right? I had those letters and had the, degree. And so I did that. And when I came out of that, the opportunities that flew from that made me level up. So yes, do those things. Like, if you find yourself getting bored, having the same conversations over and over, not coming to any sort of real conclusions or solutions driven, actionable items, then maybe it's time to, sort of reinvent your wheel, do something else.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike.
Take time for yourself,
Excellent. Joe, before I give you the next question, I'm peeking at your notes, and I know you wanted to say some stuff. So I wanted you to be able to share them with you because you have a lot of wisdom to share with us. So can you please share some of that? We talked so much on the phone.
I just love the fact that what's happened on this panel is what I hoped would have happened, and that is we're tagging off each other. We're thinking the same thing. And one of the things that Mike just said, I mean, it's in my notes. It's about, care for the whole person, the head, the heart, the body working in conjunction with another way to stay creative but still practical. So you're not sacrificing because that debilitates over a period of time. We all know about drugs. We all know about alcohol. We all know it's in venues. It's about staying creative, knowing when to pump the brakes and when to push the gas pedal, so to speak. But it is about that cura personalis. That's a Latin term for taking care of oneself. And Mike, I appreciate you bringing that up because it's a very important aspect for artists, for producers, for DJs. And I think that's clearly something that I adhere to.
Thank you. And actually, someone wrote a quick question for you, Joe. I've always wanted to have a club, but with the current industry situation, it doesn't seem viable anymore. Any advice?
I started my club in my loft. I had 2 turntables and a mixer, a little dinky Newmark, a couple of belt drive turntables, and I just invited people over to play records, and it grew. It just grew. We knew how to have fun. It was like-minded people. We talked about this up here again, finding your tribe. I think that's a big part of what we're talking about here. Everyone is saying basically the same thing. And I think that's the advice I would give. Do it yourself. It's still DIY. It still exists. Mr. Viva, right there, Mr. Viva Acid. I mean, come on. How long you been at the game? There you go. You're still there. You have a family now, too.
Lewis.
Absolutely. Okay. And we have 2 more, but we'll in perfect timing. Tips for dealing with perfectionism.
Tips for dealing with
Perfectionism?
perfectionism. Oh God, perfectionism is the killer. Yeah. It will mess you all the way up. You have to be courageous. You have to, like, if you make something. I've seen a lot of people who were extremely talented, but perfectionism kept them from kept their output low. They didn't want people to hear their mistakes or to judge them, or they didn't trust their own ears. They would make things and then just put them aside. Sometimes you can, have too much perfectionism. You kind of have to kind of let things go. You have to, and then keep working on the next thing. It doesn't stop like your creativity, and you can't just do one thing and wait for what the response is going to be. You just have to be in creative mode and let things fly when you're done with them. Move on to the next project.
Scribble outside the lines.
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing.
Great you said that. For me, this is how I look at it. If this makes any sense to you guys, don't act perfect, but be perfect at what you do, which is, what I'm saying is, be a perfectionist at what you do. But don't be a perfect person, if that kind of makes sense to anybody.
Like a know-it-all?
You want to make sure that all your I's are dotted, your T's are crossed. You don't want to send anything out there that you're not comfortable with. So put that in a space where, for you, not for the next person or the next whatever, it's perfect to you.
So you give it your best.
Right.
You
Exactly.
give it your best.
So you feel good about it. If they like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. But you
You can't be tied to the outcome. You just have to, like, once you're done with it, don't worry about what other people are going to think. You really do have to let it go into the world. You have to let your baby birds fly.
Yeah, release it. Release it to the world. And
Yes.
I mean, it could be dope as I don't know what. They just not gonna like it anyway because it's you. You know what I'm saying? So you have to factor that in too. So you kind of fizzle that noise out. You know what I'm saying? And fizzle and let the noise in die. It's gonna be able to take constructive criticism though. You know what I'm saying? Be able to do that. Don't think that your boo-boo don't stink. You dig what I'm saying? Like,
and with that,
Oh my God.
and with that, and we're out of time. But I wanted to acknowledge the one person who did write a question that we probably did not get to cover, and this will probably be a whole nother topic. It's what is the future of house music in Chicago? So who asked that question? Anybody? What is the future of house music? We'll have to answer that another time. But
This room is the future of house
Yeah,
music. Give it up for
okay.
yourselves.
If any of you
You're
are
here
hanging
right now making
if-
house music history.
If any of you are hanging around and your question wasn't answered and you want me to answer it, just approach me after and I'll be more than glad to talk to you guys.
yes, thank you
Same.
so much to everybody. Can you give it up to my beautiful panel? Joe Shanahan, Lady D, Mike Dunn, 5 Magazine. Thank you, CEMC. Stay for the Viva Acid panel, please.
Thank you.